Hey guys, FPL Aspell back here again with another game week review and look ahead to the next game week. So in the last game week, I had a small red arrow down to 7,210. It was a bit disappointing because this was the first game week in a long time where I looked at my team and I was like, damn, this team could do something. Because before that, I had Cancelo that was in and out, and I had Fabio Carvalho who was just rotting on the bench. This week, I looked at my team and thought, hey, this could be a huge game week for me. I could get back into the top 1,000. Didn't really happen, mostly because in my defense, no one kept a clean sheet. Newcastle conceded a sloppy corner goal, Arsenal conceded a sloppy corner goal, Manchester United conceded a sloppy corner goal, and they conceded 2 goals against Leeds. So almost no points in defense, which is where most of my differentials were. Because up top, you can see that Rashford and Haaland were actually spies. Most of my points, more than half my points, came from Rashford, who was the one guy I did not want to get points this week. But on the bright side, Bruno Fernandes, I said last week, hey, he's a must have. He's really, really good this week. And someone mentioned in the comments, like, should I triple captain Rashford this week? And I said, hey, the real question is, should you triple captain Rashford or Fernandes? Because United basically had altogether like a 175% chance. So they had this massive chance of winning both games. They were hugely, hugely favored in both games. So yeah, I'm happy to everyone who followed me in on Fernandez, just like before when I said that Harry Kane was must have, and before that when I said that Kenny Tete is this crazy differential pick. I think I'm getting pretty good at recommending players that when I do make a call, it tends to work out all right. But yeah, not working out on these kind of like half calls. Like Martinez was very much a budget call. I probably should have been really, really clear that Luke Shaw is who you wanted, not Martinez, which is pretty obvious, and that Martinez was just because I wanted a United defender and I didn't have the budget for Shaw. Other fun note is that on my bench, I had a huge amount of points, and actually, as of 15, this is like a really nice squad, and it's a really, really nice setup for a bench boost, which I'll talk about in a bit. But first, I want to talk about my killers, which hilariously, Rashford is there. And then Kepa getting scoring so high annoys me because Fulham, when they played, took these really speculative long shots a lot. Like Mitrovic took a shot from the halfway line and it counts as a save, and Kepa gets points for it. Like they should really differentiate between shots in the box, diving saves, and just saves. Like you should get more points for someone like Leno consistently saving big chances. Like Chelsea had an XG of 1.7 and they didn't score. Fulham, I think, are just the biggest outperformers of their XG this season because Leno keeps saving everything. And I think this week though is more that Chelsea strikers suck because Havertz missed 2 big chances by not getting it on target. So anyway, back up to the top. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about here? No, I'm going to go ahead and look ahead to the next game week. So this are the odds that we're looking at. Manchester City, 83% against Aston Villa and 40% against Arsenal. It means that these guys are the must-owns, realistically. Not because of their game against Arsenal being slightly favoured. That doesn't really matter. It's the fact that they are so much more favoured against Aston Villa than Arsenal are against Brentford. Yeah, so then that means up top, you definitely want Holland. I'm going to use my must have card and say you must have Holland, and Holland is a must have captain, which is not some crazy insight or crazy differential. I think anyone with a brain or plays fantasy Premier League would know that Erling Haaland in a double game week is a must captain. I think the most interesting differential being spat out here is definitely Rodri, and I'm going with him for my draft, but really annoyingly, in the actual main one, I can't get him because I'd have to drop Almiron because Almiron's annoying me. He's not delivering, but I am zero point 0.1 away from being able to get Rodri. So instead, what I'm likely going to do for my sub is to go for a crazy differential who's not being picked up by my numbers, and that is Rico Lewis because I think he's going to start both games. So if I go over to my player history and I was to go to like defender, Lewis, yeah, he's owned by 1.9% of people. He's really lowly ranked on ICT. His scores are nothing to write home about, but he should start both games because Cancelo is gone. And for example, if City just keep a clean sheet against Aston Villa and then he just gets his 2 points against Arsenal, that's 8 points, and that's a really, really big return. And that means it's worth it dropping Martinez, who probably might get 6 points, might not. So this is going to be like my differential pick of the week is going to be Rico Lewis, and my must-have of the week and must captain is Holland. Like this week is definitely a triple captain Holland kind of week. So yeah, they're my big picks for next week. And the next thing I want to talk about maybe is a bench boost because if you look at my team, you see that I have Newcastle, I have Arsenal, I have City, I have Tottenham, I have Fulham, I have Brighton. And look at the big favourites. There is City, there is Arsenal, there is Newcastle, there is United, there is Fulham, there is Brighton, there is Tottenham. And this is my first season playing FPL, so I'm kind of figuring it out. But in my head, if I'm going to wildcard soon, trying to wildcard and set up for a bench boost makes things a lot more complicated than just wildcarding. There is this game week where everyone's going to play each other, but you might not have the right fixtures. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that this is going to simplify my wildcard a lot if I just bench boost now. So I think that's what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to bench boost now, get all these nice fixtures in, and hopefully get a big score. And hopefully, maybe I'll get 18 points on the bench again. Like 18 points from a bench boost would be huge. Because everyone who triple captain Rashford this week got 20 points. So 18 points from a bench boost versus their 20 points. That would be excellent. The one fly in the ointment is Edward. He's not guaranteed to start. No one owns him anyway. But these guys at Play Sharper, this is a website where people are paid to do lineup predictions, and I'm not sure how they monetize it, but this guy's Farragon has been paid to do it. And you reckon there's a 75% chance that Edward is going to start. So if you're ever wondering who's going to play or whatever, I recommend going to Play Sharper and checking out their percentages. They're like associated with that game I talked about last week. That's like DraftKings, but with a free to play, that's impossible to win. And that's what happened with me this week. I finished like 50,000th out of 200,000, mostly because Newcastle didn't keep a clean sheet and these guys didn't score. So whatever, I'm probably not going to talk about this again just because I thought it might be fun, but it's not really fun because there's no subs if things go wrong. There was also like the top five this week was an insane team. It was like I'll see if I can just go real quickly to Twitter and see if I can find it. Because I looked at it and I just kind of laughed. Who, like, they are tweeting out like all the best teams from different leagues. And yeah, this was it. This was the lineup of the week. Like, if you watch this week's football and you were like, Neto being the best keeper, like, what? There was much better keeper performances like Kepa. And then in defense, Tim Ream. Like Cody Gakpo, Liverpool were terrible. They lost 3-0. Why is Cody Gakpo one of the best players of the week? And it's because he got a goal line clearance or something, which counts the same as a goal. So I looked at this and I thought, like, hey, everyone who plays FPL will look at this and just be like, no, Rashford was the best forward. Like, these guys are not the best. So, yeah, recommend not playing it. But this tool, Play Sharper, that's associated with this, is really, really good. So, yeah, that's all from me for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next week.